Hey everyone, thanks for coming back and checking out Tilt Tech Pinball here on YouTube. Appreciate you stopping in again. It's been a little while, unfortunately. I've been busy with family and life and everything else. I'm sure as you've all been with the holidays and everything having come and passed. There's some new stuff in the basement. Baywatch, pretty cool machine. Very cool machine actually. I'm really excited to own it. So last time, I think the last video that we did, I had a Gottlieb Dragon sitting here. I sold that to a friend of mine, friend of a friend, and he seems to be enjoying it a lot. He bought it for his family for a Christmas present. So from what I gather, they're enjoying the hell out of it. I really liked the Gottlieb Dragon's art package, but not much else. So playing Dragon was pretty lackluster. It was just not really my cup of tea. So, but the art package was super cool. Remind me of like Conan's artist, Frank Frazetta. So very cool art on it. Not necessarily on the playfield, but on the back glass. It reminded me a lot of like a Frank Frazetta piece. And then since then, so I got rid of the Dragon. And then I got a gigantic dumpster fire of a machine. That was a Spring Break. Really looking, just kind of scrambling around to try and find a project machine for the winter months coming up. And I kind of just pulled the trigger a little too quickly on this Gottlieb Spring Break System 80 machine. I didn't really look it over that carefully. The dude that was selling it really just, you know, kind of rubbed me, not really the wrong way, or else I really wouldn't have bought it, but, you know, it was definitely, I don't know, just, hey, here's the money, and help me load it up, and I'll be off, you know, kind of thing. So I got that home, found out that it is a lot of work to get that one restored. And in the meantime, I found this just this Saturday, so just this weekend over, I don't know, what was that, the 9th or the 10th or something like that? Maybe, no, 7th. Today is like the 9th. Yeah, 7th. So found this at a steal. I actually felt almost guilty wrapping the thing up and dragging it out to my car and everything for the money that was being asked for this machine. But we'll get actually into that one at another time. But I definitely want to show that off to the channel and all of you guys. There's a couple of things that need to be done to it too, so we can definitely check that out in a later video as well. But there it is. So pretty excited to be having that in my collection. I don't know if it'll stay around for a long time, but it'll definitely stay around for a while because gameplay, it's fantastic. Art package and theme, not my flavor. So that's what will end up kicking it to the curb eventually, if ever. I don't know, maybe I'll just end up loving it forever and ever. And kind of gloss over the theme as best I can. But play-wise, it is a stellar machine. There's a lot going on inside of it, a lot of cool features and stuff, a lot of cool modes. So I'm excited, very excited to have it. But on with what we're actually going to be doing today. Today's video is going to be about the Evel Knievel displays. So we have this digit here only on the first player display that is out. So just this one, the ones digit right there on player one's display. All the other ones work just fine. This one has its issues, but that's because of some burn-in on these couple of digits there towards the right-hand side, the ones and tens and the hundreds digit there. Not something I can actually repair with, you know, some transistors or you know, resistors or anything else. Nothing is going to repair that other than getting an actual new display. So what I want to focus on today with you guys is this ones digit up here on the Evel Knievel. I have purchased a while back, see if I can show you this, the Bally display driver kit from Big Daddy. I actually purchased a couple of them. And this was before I got to really doing a whole lot of research with what the fix would be for that single ones digit. And I was actually planning on buying this with all of these resistors, transistors, and there's even a little IC chip in there, and just shotgunning the thing. I've actually found some new information after having ordered these and had these shipped to me. I found out some new information. There's a lot easier way to track down what the problem is here. So I'll show you that here in just 1 second. Let's move you guys in a little bit closer here and see if we can start working on the Evel Knievel here. So I think that should do for the moment. One thing I want to... So if you ever have a problem like this, first off, definitely start with tracking down whether or not the display will actually work in any of the other positions. I've already done this as my kind of first as my first attempt to kind of come to terms with what was the actual problem. So I've already moved it around, but let me just show you how that would be done if you wanted to. So we know that this digit is burnt out. If you don't know that the digit itself on this particular display board is burnt out, you can move the displays around to kind of double check whether or not the problem moves with the display. So if I move the player 1 display here to the player 2 position and plug everything back in, and I still have that digit out, we'll know that it's not the actual wiring or anything, or any of the problems with the motherboards in the back box not sending the signal to the display, but the display itself. So let me wiggle these connectors off of player 1 and player 2, and we will shift it over. Displays, let me mention this. Displays, definitely, it's not like changing light bulbs where you can do it with the game on and not suffer any kind of ill effects. Displays, I believe there's enough voltage going through there, and if something, even just pulling the cord off of the display, can just completely fry motherboards and other electrical components that you don't want to make bigger problems for yourself. So before you disconnect anything with regards to these displays, make sure that the power is turned off to the machine. So this is our player 2 that I just took from here. We're going to stick it over here, and we're going to do the same. So this is originally the player 1 that was up here in the player 1 position. I'm going to stick this here in player 2's position. And let's see, after I reconnect everything, something's hanging this one up. It's not wanting to seat all the way back into, there we go. Not that it really needs to seat all the way back in there at the moment, but you may run into problems if it's not all the way pushed back up against this little metal bar here. If you try to put your back glass on. So let's see what it does now. So everything's reconnected. Sorry, I just kicked the tripod. Everything's reconnected. And like I said, I've already tried this, so we're still going to probably get, yeah. So there's nothing wrong with the wiring going to this display. There's nothing wrong with the motherboards in the back box here with regards to this display. Because the display, moving another display into this position here, we now have the ones digit. So it moved, the problem moved with this set of displays, or this display. So this is definitely the problem. Or some component on the board there is the problem. Like I mentioned earlier, we ordered some the Bally display rebuild kits. Bally display driver kit right there. I ordered that and then found out some more information. I was really just going to kind of shotgun it. I guess there's a fix out there, a recommended like service bulletin to repair, or not, sorry, not to repair, but to replace a lot of the components on here, a lot of the transistors and a lot of the resistors. Makes the displays a little bit more bulletproof, and I believe makes them brighter, I think is something that I read as well, and makes them more reliable. Maybe I already said reliable. Reliable, brighter, and less energy used on them. So they just run more efficiently. So I can already tell, and I don't know if I can get this on the camera, some of these components are really having some cold solder issues. Some of them are kind of bubbled up, not making very good electrical contact. So we are going to take a look here and find out which one of the resistors and transistors on this board are actually the problem. So this is the thing that I actually found was let me find it here real quick. This guy's website is named Steve Kulpa, KULPA.net, Steve Kulpa. But he has a whole page here on how to repair different problems with Bally displays. So this is the one that relates to our problem. One digit is out on one of the displays. And it asks you to check your connections and stuff on J14 through J19. If that's not the problem, the handy chart below should show you the level shifter and digit driver associated with each digit. You'll find the transistor labels printed on the circuit board, or look at the diagram below. Locate the two transistors listed for that digit, find them in the circuit board, and replace them. So, this is the handy little chart that I was wanting to show you guys. So, this here, we are looking at the ones digit on player one's display. And it looks like Q1 and Q7 are our possible culprits. And those are being replaced with an MPS A42, and Q7 is a 2N5401. And it just so happens that inside these driver kits here that I got from Big Daddy Enterprises, there just happens to be exactly that. So there's a whole bunch of resistors in here. What I'm holding in my hand is an MPS A42. And there's no way I could probably get this thing to focus. But that's him there. And then inside here as well, let's just dump these out. Make a mess. There is also our 2N5401s, a whole strip of them. So, I believe what I want to do, definitely some of these traces and stuff on this board need to be cleaned up and have some new solder applied to them, and some of the cold solder stuff that's kind of visibly looks bad and needs kind of refreshed. We'll do that as well. But it looks as though, so what we're looking at for this board's ones digit display is C7, which is this guy here, and what was the other one? Q1, which is this one here. So we'll just replace those two and then kind of freshen up everything, and then cross our fingers that that is the fix. And actually, just looking at those two, I can see some kind of bubbled up solder joints and cold solder joints, and just it's pretty ugly. So let me pause you just real quickly. We're gonna head over to the bench, get the soldering iron heated up, and be right back. Okay, everybody, we're back. We're on the bench, taking a look at the Bally 6-digit display. So I think I have everything set up here. As I already mentioned, we got the little display driver kit from Big Daddy, and you get all of that. Lots of resistors. Looks like 7 transistors of one variety, and probably another 7 or 10 transistors of another variety, and some resistors there. And this is really meant to kind of do a different purpose, and that is to kind of make everything much more reliable. You can replace, for the most part, everything on the board. They're on Big Daddy's, on their website, they actually have a link to a breakdown as to which things to replace with what, and the benefits of doing so. So I don't know if doing this for just one digit being out is really the way to go, because if I had found this information before ordering the Big Daddy driver kit, I probably would have just ordered a couple of transistors, tried to find them here locally at a Micro Center or a Radio Shack or something like that. But I do have it. I have lots of resistors and stuff, all of the variety that go on these boards here that populate these boards, and even the little IC chip, if you ever want to replace that. But I don't know if I would have gone this route had I found this information prior to ordering those. But this whole thing was only $7. So not too bad of a deal. And having just a kit that's labeled and everything with everything that you need, sometimes the simplicity is just easier to make sense of it all, and especially whenever he has guides and stuff to kind of guide you along. So we're just going to jump in. Grab our soldering iron. Actually, I need to remove the couple of components. So we're looking at, again, where is he? Q1, right? So says our sheet here. One's digit Q1 and Q7. Q1 is this one right there. So from the back side, looks like it should be this leg protruding here. And yep, that one. And the two, of course, just above it are the two other legs. That is some old solder. It does not want to melt. There it goes. Okay. Let's see if that actually releases it enough that we can pull it off of here. But I'm kind of doubting it because there's still a lot of solder on the top. Yep. We're going to have to... So there is actual solder pads on both top and bottom. So we're going to have to keep that in mind as we go through this. Wish I could get this so you guys can see it, but it's pretty hard. I don't know how much of that you saw, but we're pretty cleaned up now as far as... So I think what I'm going to do at this point is just snip off the legs. And then come back with needle nose or these little side cutters and heat the solder back up and pop it off that way. I just dropped this in my lap, I think, or on the floor. I'll find it in a moment. Okay, so grab our soldering iron again. And let's heat up these traces one last time with our needle nose held on to the little remainder of the leg. Maybe this will work better. I don't know. Let's see. No, there's a good amount of leg sticking through the bottom now. Wow. I think a lot of the heat is wanting to transfer to the needle nose pliers because it's just so close to where everything is touching. So a lot of the heat transfer is just going straight to these needle nose. Well, I got quite a bit of leg sticking out this side, so I'm going to try and grab from this side then and heat from the other side. There we go. I think the other leg may have just, nope, it's still there. Okay. And there's that. Okay, so it's all out. The holes are actually fairly clean. So what goes in that hole? So that one was, let's see, that was Q1's position. So it's one of these A42 transistors. So MPS A42. Yeah. So let's kind of spread these out a little bit. This one is going to go this way and into there and into there and into there. Come on, go in. Got to be real careful with these too. The little solder pads are so small. If you kind of apply any kind of force in some weird way, you're going to end up popping the pad off if you don't have enough. If the solder isn't given up yet, it's still holding on to the component. So do be careful. Okay, so there's the new one back in place. And looks like I need to tack it from both the top and the bottom. I'm going to tack it from the bottom just so I can spread these legs out a little bit, so it kind of holds itself in place. Okay, so there's that. Sorry if I've been holding things off camera. So, okay, so let's tack that down just real quick. Heat both the leg and the pad up at the same time. Dab it with some solder and you're done. And then just pull your soldering iron away. Done. And done. But being that we're going to do the same to the top side here, I'm not sure if we're just going to kind of undo. So we're going to have to kind of flip it back and forth to make sure that everything that needs to be contacting okay. That one looks good from this side now. This is a really tight squeeze, and having such piss poor lighting does not help. Okay, so now it looks good from this side, but now what does it look like on the back side here? Because every time I heat things up from one side, it seems to go all weird on the other side. Okay. Nope, now both sides look quite good. So, that was Q1. Let's see, let's find our Q7 one more time. So that was our Q1 there. I think our Q7 is actually just below it here. Oh, again, I'm holding it out of the frame, I'm sorry. So this is Q7, 8, 9. Yep, 10, 11, 12. Yep. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's those ones. So we just need to pop off Q7 and replace it with the new one. I'm just going to trim the legs off of this one, and we will just have to remove the legs. This one's going to be kind of a pain because it's even closer. It's super close to the back side of the screen here, so it's right up against this edge. So it could be a little difficult to get things in there. So we will just make do, though. It can be done. you guys see at all what I am doing here. So it's this pad here. Okay. It's got things decently cleaned out, but we are definitely going to have to... Yeah, a couple of legs just fell right out. I suspect if I gave this one a press with something a little bit more straight on here, it will, I can push it out. Well, maybe not. But it's very easy to grab now from the front side here. See if you can see. Ta-da! Okay, so that one's out. Let's take a look at the holes here, see if we can clean those up a bit. One of the holes is still pretty gummed up. There we go. Yep, clearly can see through all three of them now. So we're looking at this one here. So one above my finger there, and then the two up here towards the top edge. That relates to Q7 here. So there's our missing diode or transistor. So just to double check one more time, ones digit Q1 is an A42 and Q7 is a 5401, a 2N 5401, which is one of these right there. So that's him. And something to mention, if you can see kind of like this little circular diagram there, and then it has a flat side. That of course relates to the flat side on one of your transistors has a flat side. So our flat side is going to be facing the back side of the glass here. So it's going to be oriented like that. So let's tweak one of these little legs backwards that goes into the back position here. Let's see if I can get her wiggled in here. Not bad. That wasn't too tough. Yeah, I'll take that. So let's tack it again from the back side. Then we will see about what traces we need to address on the front, or solder pads we need to address on the front. Where is he? Okay, this one right here. Ta-da. Again, remember to hold your solder tip up against the pad and the component's leg at the same time, so everything heats up all at once. And taking a look from the top, there's definitely some not very good connections on the pads up here on the top. So let me see what I can do. It is such a tight space here.
forces of Mars challenge you.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of messed things up on the back side here, so let's neaten this up a little bit on the back here. In hopes that we don't just keep going back and forth with this crap. Okay, so now it looks good on this side, but now the other side, of course, is all bubbled up. So that's okay. Now I'm actually pretty happy with both sides. So there we have them. So that's him right there. That's Q7. Just below there is our Q1. Nope. Our Q1 is that one that we just replaced. As much as I want to kind of go over other things on this board and kind of freshen some of these solder joints up, I really just want to throw this back in and see if that fixed our problem or not. I'm just really hopeful that it may have. So I'm just taking a look at some of the other stuff, see if there's anything that's just completely outstanding that absolutely has to be addressed before sticking this back in. So let me just cut the little legs off of our components here, our transistors that we just installed. And there we go. Okay. Let's take a look back here at the machine. I'm going to give you a pause. Okay, so we're taking a look back at the machine again. We're going to put it in this player 2 position, even though it was originally over here in player 1's position. So we're going to slide this in from the front. These all slide in from the front. Open up our back box. Make sure it's all the way wiggled back into the channel, which it doesn't want to. I don't know where this actually hangs up. Oh, there it goes. So weird. Okay, reattach this, and should just be able to turn it back on. Okay, fingers crossed. I hope that did the trick. Let's see. Come on, give me a ones digit. Frack. Well, what else is it? Still missing it. Well, quickly as that, let's just turn it back off, pull it back out, and see about refreshing some of these. See about refreshing some of these other traces and components on this board. Let's take a look. Not sure what else to do other than just kind of follow the traces around and see what components next in line and next in line. And so let me pause you. We're going to set back up on the bench. Okay, so we're back on the bench. We're just going to run through, I don't know, maybe just top to bottom, or yeah. There's a number of things that definitely need some refreshing on here. There's no doubt about that. I was really just hoping to get away easy on it. And also, this is not the most overly filmable content, so I'm not sure how much you can really see, but I'm just gonna kind of go with it and see what I can spruce up and refresh here on this board. So the top traces all along here are the connections that actually go up to the, so maybe actually I have, so it's this digit here, maybe I actually have a connection problem between these few, you know, I'm assuming the ones here closest to the right side, closest to this ones position, are the ones that actually go to this digit. So let's just start there and refresh some of these. So just quickly dab some solder on each of these pads in hopes that there is a lot of flux residue gumming up this whole area up here. But it doesn't look like anything's actually accidentally joined together that shouldn't be. I would really like to take my multimeter and double check continuity between a couple of these pads just to make sure that they are not touching and are not bridged in a way that they're not supposed to be. But I loaned my multimeter to a friend and he cooked it. Okay, from here I'm just going to try and find some that really just kind of stand out as looking pretty rough. Because I don't really want to go every single component across this board. So I'm just going to keep an eye out for ones that look like they need a touch-up. So here's one of our new transistors that we just put in. As far as its path, it goes to this component here to the right of it. But that one, the solder trace on it, or the solder pad on it, looks like it's actually in pretty good shape. There's some of these that just have 30, 40 years of dust on them. So you can't even tell what the pad looks like, or the component legs look like.
Circling. Not again. So 3.
Well, there's not many others that really are standing out to me as being questionable. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to do. Hopefully this is not just a hopefully this video is not going into the loss category. I'd really like to chalk this one up as a win.
Can you survive battle with Mars?
I do kind of wonder what the associated like resistors and stuff are for this particular digit as well, because I have a whole big bag of resistors now with that display driver kit. So let's see, R1 comes off of there. Oh, and actually goes to, or I'm sorry, not R1, Q1 comes off of there, goes to this resistor. And then goes to Q7. And everything else is on the other side of the board. So I wonder if maybe the resistor has given up. Okay, let's follow some of these paths of the... So it goes to this component here, off of this leg of this transistor. Goes to there. See if we can freshen that one up a bit. I don't know what else to do.
Battle with Mars.
I was really hoping for an easy one. I was thinking to myself, this is going to be the shortest video that I've done. This was just going to be a kind of a quick and dirty fix. That's what I was hoping for, but we may not be so lucky. Really don't like how this blobbed up here on this component. So I'm going to remove the majority of that solder and redo that one. Okay, well that's all the more I can think to really do. Maybe this little guy here, but I don't think he's in any way associated with anything that we've been working on so far.
Circling. I am circling.
Okay, well that's all the more I'm going to try for. This may just not be our day. So, let me pause you real quick. We'll take a look back up at Evel Knievel and see how she looks. Okay, so we're going to slide this guy back in here. Of course it's going to give me issues for whatever reason. Nope, that was easier. Let's reattach this. And fire it back up. Fingers crossed, everyone. Oh my God! There's a digit there, but everything else is jacked up. What's up with that? What did I do now? I have breathed new life into it, but it's not happy about the life that it has. Well, crap. What does that mean? What do I do about that? Did I kill everything else? Yeah. So, okay. Well, I have something displaying here, but whenever it shows the high score to date, everything else is blank. What have I done? What have I done? I'm not sure what that means at all. It's not these stupid... Well, no, that couldn't be it. Because it... Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the... Maybe it's the actual connector pins? Well, I do see I bridged something here. Let me just fix this real fast. You don't need to see this. Considering you probably couldn't have seen most of this anyways. But yeah, I'm pretty positive I bridged this. Well, hopefully that little bridge... Well, hopefully that was the problem, and I may have just fixed it. But there was definitely a component or two that were bridged here. And maybe everything is actually working, and if we're not for that bridge. So let's try this one more time. And hopefully, though, because of that bridge, I didn't like put voltage to something that shouldn't have. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe the silly thing didn't even recognize the bridging of those components. Or we're just back to where it was. Well, hell, I don't know. Well, I at least know that the segments here that make up that digit are... that they do work. Well, I think we're just going to have to go with the shotgunning approach and actually just try this full bag of goodies in the Bally display driver kit from Big Daddy and just refresh the whole silly mess of it. Let's see. Well, I guess we're back to the bench. So let me pause you and go back over to the bench, and we will go from there. Okay, so we're back. Taking a look again here. So on Big Daddy's website, he actually has some documentation, a little PDF file that you can download. It looks something like that. So it shows the display board there, and also another variety of Bally 6-digit display, and then over here it shows a 7-digit Bally display board. So we're dealing with the 6-digit, and so to replace the transistors is for each of the segment drivers and digit drivers and level shifters. And so there's supposed to be 6. Nope, 7. 7 of them. Of these resistors. So I really wonder, because we replaced the two components associated with that digit, and so on here it's actually saying be sure to upgrade your resistor even if the displays appear to be working fine. Quarter watt is just way too small. So so what they're saying is the 7 resistors that are on here that need to be replaced are quarter watt, and we're upgrading them to a higher wattage resistor. And it points out that it's these brown ones, and the banding on them is brown, black, yellow. So I'm just going to replace the couple of resistors that I can absolutely see would be associated with the digit that we're having problems with. So I'm just going to really just replace one of these and go from there. So let's see. It's going to be, so there's the 2 resistors that we replaced are these 2 here. Right here. So it is this one here and this one here. And the resistors that it's referring to are these brown ones, the bigger brown ones, and there's 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's a 7th one, I think, right here, that one. So brown, black, yellow. And just to clarify a little bit, there's instructions on both. There's 2 different 6-digit displays. There's a 2518-15, and then there is the other one that they notate here, which is a 2518-21. We actually have the 15, and it says down here in the corner, which one we have. So this is 2518-15. And we are going to be replacing, yeah, and it was, the other brown, black, yellow is down here in this area, this brown, black, yellow. It's the, in that cluster of 4, it's the second one from the right. So we're just going to jump in and do this. I'm just going to replace this one that's closest to the transistor that we replaced. So I'm going to replace this one here. And I can see that the top left leg of this transistor that we replaced here goes out and around and then connects to the bottom of this resistor. So I wonder if that resistor is just bad. And that may be causing our problems because we have all new transistors in there. And shouldn't be having issues like this. And if only I had my meter, I could check continuity between some things here and find out if we have issues there. So, as soon as I get done recording this video, I may just take off and go buy a new multimeter. Because this is some serious BS. Nathan, if you're watching this video, you owe me a new meter. I love you, man, but I need a new meter. No, I know it was an accident. So, any of you guys out there have a spring break? Any cool things I should know about it? I've been enjoying the hell out of it. I've only had it for 2 or 3 days now. I actually had a problem with the giant Sega extra large DMD screen on it. It was funny. The guy that I purchased it from, he was telling me that the screen had just gone out like a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago. And that's why he was selling it for so cheap. I guess he probably knew that they were like, these screens are $300-400, and that's only if you can even find one. So, I went into it knowing that the screen was not going to be working upon arrival, and I get there, and of course the screen isn't working. He powers it on, screen's not working. We play a couple of games, kind of flying blind with it, and then, you know, I said, hey, I'll take the machine, gave him the cash, we loaded it up, we got it home, hooked everything back up, and what do you know, the screen just like works out of the box. But then it went out after just, you know, a game or two. So we're like, well, at least it worked for a moment, you know, so we know that the screen itself was functional. And then I got to reading about the problems associated with that screen, and I guess there's a certain voltage, and if memory serves me, I think it was 5 volts was the magic number. And if it did not have exactly 5 volts, there was no plus or minuses about this. I mean, if it did not have exactly this voltage, it wouldn't work. It'd either flicker or reset or not work at all. And so read up on it, and I did looked into the back box there and all of the connections associated with the display, and found out that somebody had already done the proper mod to alleviate these kind of problems. And so I was kind of stumped. It could not for the life of me. Oh, actually, every time I would turn the machine off and then back on, it would work for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then go out again. But it would just keep reappearing. It would come on. You would get the first few minutes of gameplay, and then all of a sudden it would just go back out. So knowing that the screen worked and worked well, kind of bothered me. So I looked at the instructions for putting this little mod in there to get it a better supply of its 5 volts, and there's 2 options. There's 2 header pins that you could use. The higher, the top left one, the optional one, as where they were drawing their 5 volts off of the power supply. So I actually switched it to the one that it was recommended, but it shouldn't have made any difference. Both of them should have supplied 5 volts just fine, and so I switched it, and it has worked rock solid ever since. Not a moment's trouble. So I am super excited to have this machine and to have it fully functioning. So could not be happier. It's a really cool machine, except for the theme. What's his name does not do anything for me as a celebrity, and Pamela Anderson, I don't know, she's kind of a twit. I don't know, nothing about it really. I mean, I guess it's good eye candy, at least as far as the girls are concerned, but other than that, the theme itself kind of blows. Okay, so I got the resistor routed through there. It's this guy right here. It's quite a bit larger than the previous one. We're going to tack it down, and I'm just going to throw it right back in the machine and see if we get some life out of this. Probably going to have to look at the other side too, because this resistor, actually the traces on the backside don't actually go to anywhere. So both of the actual, I use traces and pads kind of wrongly at times, but so the traces that actually connect this resistor to the next component in line are all on the top here, so I didn't even really need to make the connections on the backside. Okay, that's it. Cut off these little legs and see where this gets us. Okay, I'm just going to take you off the tripod here rather than pausing you. See if I can do this one-handed. There we go. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay. Let's find out if it was a resistor. Yeah! It works! I am so excited. I have a digit now. Yes. Okay, well that was the fix. It was that resistor. I did nothing else this last time, other than yeah, just that resistor. That was the only thing that was the problem this whole time, I bet. So unfortunately, we had to go through a lot there to figure out that it was just one tiny little resistor. So as far as shotgun and the rest of it, I'm not sure that I'm going to do that right away. I really just wanted my machine working 100% again, so I think I'm going to leave it as is for right now. If I run out of things to do, maybe we'll come back and readdress it and see what shotgunning all of these new components onto that board will do for us. So, but until then, I'm just going to play it and be happy. So, I guess that concludes this video. Thanks everyone for stopping in again and checking out Tilt Tech Pinball here on YouTube. Please subscribe, give likes, give comments. I'll try and answer any comments that you may have or questions. So let me know what your thoughts are. And thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.